If your portfolio pays you dividends every month, it can feel like the portfolio is working. Cash lands in the account, you see it, you can spend it, you can reinvest it. It feels real. But here is the uncomfortable question. What if the income looks good, but the portfolio is still losing the more important game? This is not an anti-dividend video. Dividends can be useful. For some investors, they are a powerful cash flow tool. But the mistake is thinking that dividend income and investment success are the same thing. By the end of this video, you will know when dividend income matters, when total return matters more, and how to judge your portfolio without getting distracted by the number that feels the best. Welcome to Grow with Tony. Simple money lessons for education only, not financial advice. Let's start with the simple difference. Dividend income is cash paid to you by an investment. If you own a dividend-paying stock, that dividend usually comes from company profits. If you own a fund or ETF, the fund may pass through dividends from the companies it owns. Yield is the income compared with the price. So if an investment pays a lot of income compared with its price, people often call it a high-yield investment. Total return is bigger than that. Total return includes the income you receive, plus what happens to the value of the investment itself. So, if a stock pays a dividend, that is part of return. If the price goes up, that is part of return. If the price goes down, that also affects return. For funds and ETFs, returns can come from dividends, capital gains distributions, and changes in the fund's price or net asset value. That sounds simple, but emotionally, it does not feel simple, because dividend income feels different from price growth. If a stock goes up in price, your account value rises, but nothing hits your bank account unless you sell. For many people, that feels less real. But if a dividend arrives, it feels like the investment paid you. You did not sell anything. You still own the shares. You received cash. That can feel cleaner, safer, and more disciplined. And this is why dividend investing is so attractive. It gives investors a sense of progress. It creates a visible reward. It can make long-term investing feel less abstract. For retirees, that cash flow may help cover spending. For newer investors, reinvesting dividends can feel like a machine slowly buying more shares. And for people who hate selling, dividends can reduce the emotional stress of touching the portfolio. None of that is wrong. The problem begins when dividend income becomes the only scoreboard. Imagine two investors. Investor A owns a $100,000 portfolio that pays $5,000 of dividend income in a year. That looks attractive. $5,000 arrived without selling shares. But during that same year, the portfolio value falls by $2,000. The investor still received income, but the full result was closer to $3,000 before tax and inflation. Investor B owns a different $100,000 portfolio. It only pays $1,500 of dividend income. That feels less exciting, but the portfolio value rises by $6,000. And the dividends are reinvested. Investor A saw more cash. Investor B had the stronger total result. If you only look at income, Investor A looks better. If you look at total return, Investor B may be building more wealth. That is the trap. Cash flow can feel like progress even when the scoreboard says otherwise. A high yield is not automatically a high return. Sometimes a high yield exists because the price has fallen. Sometimes it reflects a business that is not growing. Sometimes it comes with more risk than the investor realizes. On the other side, a lower yield investment is not automatically worse. It may be retaining more earnings, reinvesting for growth, or producing returns through price appreciation instead of cash payments. The investor who only asks, "How much does it pay me?" can miss the bigger question. What is my total result? Here is the cleanest way to think about it. Dividend income is not extra money. It is one way your return shows up. That one idea changes the whole conversation. If a company pays a dividend, that cash has to come from somewhere. It may be a healthy payment from profits, and that can be great. But it is still part of the value created by the business. It is not magic money outside the investment. And if a fund distributes income, the investor receives cash, but the fund's value also reflects those distributions, market movement, expenses, and the performance of the holdings. So the real lesson is this. Dividend income is a tool. Total return is the scoreboard. Tools are useful. A scoreboard tells you whether the whole game is being won. Once you see it that way, the question changes. It is no longer, are dividends good or bad? The better question is, what job do I need this money to do? If you are still building wealth, your main job is usually growth of the total portfolio over time. In that stage, current income may matter less than the combination of growth, reinvestment, diversification, taxes, fees, and behavior. This is where reinvestment matters. If you receive dividends and reinvest them, those payments can buy more shares. More shares can create more future income and more future participation in growth. That is one reason reinvested dividends can become part of long-term compounding. But notice what is happening. The dividend is useful because it is being pulled back into the total return machine. For an accumulator, a dividend that gets spent is different from a dividend that gets reinvested. One supports current cash flow, the other supports future growth. Same dividend, different job. Now, if you are retired or living from your portfolio, the answer changes. Cash flow matters more when the portfolio has to pay bills. A dividend stream can reduce the need to sell during uncomfortable markets. It can make spending feel more organized. It can help an investor stick with a plan. But even then, total return does not disappear. A retirement income plan can use dividends, interest, cash reserves, and planned sales. It does not have to rely only on natural yield. That part is important because some investors become obsessed with never selling shares. Emotionally, that sounds safe, but if the only way to avoid selling is to chase higher and higher yield, the investor may be taking risk in a different form. They may concentrate too much in one sector. They may buy weak companies because the payout looks attractive. They may ignore inflation. They may give up growth that the portfolio still needs for a long retirement. So even for income investors, the goal is not just more cash. The goal is sustainable cash flow from a portfolio that still makes sense as a whole. Now let's talk about taxes for a moment, because this is where dividend income can surprise people. In a taxable account, dividends may create taxes even if you reinvest them. You did not spend the cash, but the tax event may still exist. Qualified dividends and long-term capital gains can have different tax treatment from ordinary income, depending on the rules and your situation. Short-term gains can be taxed differently from long-term gains. Account type matters. Your income matters. Holding period matters. This is not a tax planning video, and you should not make tax decisions from a YouTube video. But the big idea is simple. The number you should care about is not just the headline yield, it is the after-tax, after-inflation full portfolio result. A portfolio that pays a large dividend but creates unnecessary taxes, weak growth, or poor diversification may not be as attractive as it looks. And a portfolio that pays less income today but gives you a better long-term total result may be doing its job better. So how do you decide which matters more for you? Use 3 questions. Question 1. Do I need cash now, or am I still building wealth? If you are still working, saving, and investing for the future, total return usually deserves the main focus. You can still like dividends. You can still own dividend-paying investments, but your scoreboard should be the growth of the whole portfolio after risk, cost, tax, and inflation. If you need portfolio income today, dividend income matters more. But even then, it should be part of a broader income plan, not the only number you trust. Question 2. Is the income supported by quality, or am I chasing yield? This is where many investors get caught. A high yield can be a sign of useful income, but it can also be a warning sign. Maybe the price dropped. Maybe the payout is under pressure. Maybe the business is not growing. Maybe the fund is concentrated in areas that do well in one environment and struggle in another. Do not worship the yield. Investigate what is creating it. Question 3. What is the full result after tax and inflation? A $5 dividend feels better than $5 of unrealized price growth because the dividend is visible. But your future lifestyle does not care whether return arrived as income, capital gains, or price appreciation. It cares about purchasing power. It cares about whether your portfolio can support your goals. It cares about whether you can stay invested without taking risks you do not understand. That is why total return matters so much. It forces you to look at the full picture: income, growth, taxes, fees, inflation, risk, behavior, all of it. So which one actually matters more? Total return matters more as the scoreboard. Dividend income matters when it supports a clear cash flow job. That is the balanced answer, but not the lazy answer, because it tells you exactly what to do. Do not judge an investment only by how much cash it throws off. Ask whether the whole investment is making you wealthier in a way that matches your goal. If you are building wealth, a lower yield portfolio with stronger total return may be better than a high yield portfolio that makes you feel productive but falls behind. If you are spending from the portfolio, dividends can be helpful, but they still need to come from investments that make sense after risk, taxes, inflation, and diversification. And if you are tempted by a very high yield, slow down. Ask what the market may be telling you. Ask whether the payout is sustainable. Ask whether you would still want the investment if the dividend showed up as price growth instead of cash. That last question is powerful. Because if the only reason you like an investment is that it pays you visibly, you may not be evaluating the investment. You may be evaluating the feeling. The best investors can appreciate dividends without being controlled by them. They can use income when income helps. They can reinvest when growth matters more. And they can judge the portfolio by the full result, not just the most emotionally satisfying part. So remember the simple rule. Dividend income is a tool. Total return is the scoreboard. Use the tool when it fits the job, but do not ignore the scoreboard. If this helped you think more clearly about dividend income versus total return, hit the like button. And in the comments, tell me which one you focus on more right now. Income, total return, or a mix of both. Keep learning, keep growing your wealth, and I will see you in the next video.